Hi ladies and gentlemen, today is March 24th, 2017, and up front I'm going to say, yes, I support Donald Trump, okay? And then I'm going to go back to that in a minute. Obama is in Tahiti without his wife, without his kids, obviously with Secret Service protection, but with all this going on, the wiretapping or the surveillance of Trump coming out, the DOJ funds that he took to support extremist movements on the left, leftist Marxists, his OFA, again helping extremists, and his stealing funds from Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac to shore up Obamacare. Tahiti has no extradition, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but it's interesting. Okay, I thought I'd throw that out there for your perusal, but now I want to get back to this other thing. I support Trump 100%. He's in a messy situation. But I'm also not a yes man, and neither is David Knight of InfoWars. I met David Knight at Bundy Ranch, and I agree with David Knight probably on 100% of the things he says. I'm not brown-nosing him. He knows I feel that way, and I told him that my brother, who had been the Army news chief at the Pentagon, when he saw David Knight, he said he's one of the best reporters out there, and I agree. But we can't just agree with something because we have to make sure the government works. That's been our problem. We keep thinking government has to do things when in fact it needs to stop trying to do things, and Trump's falling into this. The Health Care Act, the American Health Care Act that he's pushing so hard for now, Trump, is not a good thing, and I've said this. I've said that it needs to go back to free marketplace. It needs to get government out of our business, okay? And liberty, the Constitution, needs to come back into the forefront here. But I thought it was interesting that even Steve Bannon came out today. It was in Breitbart that, and I'm not going to quote it, but it's something like this. It's private. It was a private statement, so how can we substantiate it or corroborate it? But basically, and I think he probably said this. He said that it betrays the American populist voters who put Donald Trump in the White House, and I have to agree. I have to agree 100%. And along those same lines, I'm going to move over to a statement that Dr. Steve Pieczenik made yesterday as he was interviewed by Alex Jones. And first of all, Alex, and I'm going to say this publicly, will you please shut up? You know, Dr. Pieczenik was trying to explain things, and you kept interrupting him, and a lot of people are going to think it's because you're worried about him talking about Israel and the Mossad and all that. And I don't know that that's true. I think you just don't want to get into that subject matter. But you have got to shut up. When you ask a guest a question, let them answer the GD question. I mean, and that's one reason why I like Knight. He never, ever does that. If he does, he has a good point. He's not just trying to be boisterous. So shut up, Alex. And I know you know that, but you're just going to have to do it. Okay, so what did Dr. Pieczenik say? The same thing that I've been saying all along about the problem with 9/11, the problem with the neocons, Gorsuch. This is where the information I put out yesterday on Gorsuch came from about him wanting to do rendition and torture, and how he was behind that. And Steve Pieczenik goes into some real depth on this, and I want you to go see it. It's in the link below in the description box. So I'm just making that statement real quick. One of the things he said, and I'm 100% with him on this, you really need to watch this interview, is when he said, we in the intelligence community that did this soft coup to prevent Clinton from getting in and to support Donald Trump, we will not allow Trump to bring these neocons back into the administration where they can reap corruption, theft, murder, wars. People like Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, not just them, they're getting kind of over the hill now, but people like them, people that come up in that same group. The patriotic intelligence community cannot allow it, President Trump. They cannot allow it, not after what they put on the line. Keep these Trotskyite neocon Russian haters out of there. Anyway, please watch that down below. It's very important. Now, I have a dear friend who's going to get upset at me for coming down on Trump like that. But like I said, I'm not a yes man. I'll only take things so far. And then the obvious just has to be spoken. Okay, FBI. This is old news, okay? Let me calm down here. Old news. We all know that Comey accepted the report of a DNC hired cybersecurity firm called Crowdstrike to go through their computers, supposedly to find this hacking evidence. Really, FBI Director Comey, who is, has all this confidence in the FBI's ability and all of this, that they're never corrupt. And I told you the story a few videos way back about an FBI agent. I had a personal problem with some surveillance that was going on and some civil rights violations, and I went to the FBI with it, and the agent said, we have integrity, we'll do this. And I said, you don't know who you're talking about. The people that are doing this influence the FBI. And he said, I don't think so, after he heard the tape, because you're right. The FBI is corrupt at that level where this is going to have to go for agreeing for the investigation, to open the investigation. So I know all about it. I saw them when I worked with them in the field, in law enforcement and the military. Okay, so Comey, who has all this trust in the FBI, trusts CrowdStrike to give him all the information he needs to make his illustrative and comprehensive briefing to Congress. Comey, I'm calling you out. You're a bullshit liar. And you're also a criminal and a traitor. Why don't you have those people investigate the people out west in the Bundy Ranch and the Malheur deal? Why don't you have a private investigation firm go do that? You're so obviously a liar, Comey, and a crook that it just oozes out of you. You're disgusting. You're everything that's wrong with the United States of America. Everything. And you wonder why I'm calling this part 6. Well, that's why. Okay. And I also want to insert in here that we cannot allow government and corporations to start deciding what's true and isn't true in speech. Other than they can counter it by saying, well, here's our evidence to show that that's not the case. But they can't be allowed to shut it down. They cannot be allowed for dissenting voices, dissenting opinions, different ideas to be shut down because it's not true. We cannot allow that, and they're trying to do it in the California legislature right now. This is getting out of hand, and it's like I've said, we're no longer the United States of America based on the principles of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Wake up, people. A couple other quick things. Racism. It's interesting. Every time an Islamicist, jihadist, or an illegal immigrant rapes, kills, assaults, or whatever, it's let's not use racism on these people. That's racism to say they did something wrong. I see this all of the time. And then Theresa May, she comes out and says, Islam is a good religion. These attacks are a perversion of a great faith. May, have you ever read the unholy Quran? Have you ever sat down and read it? I don't think so. Force is its mantra. Death to unbelievers is its mantra. I just tweeted something to Paul Sperry about this. I don't think I'm going to include it here, but the fact of the matter is, Muhammad put what he had in the Quran about this acceptance or death, conversion or death in Islam, from the Zealot Sicarii Messianists of the first century, who later, by the way, were called Christians. I know there's going to be a big argument about that, but at any rate, that's what it was. I shouldn't even bring it up here, but I can't help myself. I had a lady on Twitter. You know, she's a very good woman. I can tell just by everything she does. But she was really concerned that the Old Testament in particular came from the Greeks, that the Jews, you know, had plagiarized it. I haven't got time to go through the whole history here, but no, that's not what happened. Although there was a lot of awakening of consciousness in those days, and Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey at the same time that Moses was taking the Israelites out of Egypt, under legend or however you want to look at it. The stories are the same. They're about the awakening of the consciousness of mankind. I'll get into that some other time. I don't like the people that are in the White House. I don't mean Trump. I mean the people he's picking. And you know how I feel about McMaster's. And John Bolton almost got there, or maybe he did now. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. In the State Department, I hope to high heaven he did not. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now. There's a lot of things going on. There's more and more coming out about the wiretap, the surveillance, and all that. And this is going to blow the lid. The Wiener thing. Again, that's those 650,000 emails. The NYPD, you need to just totally disregard the FBI and the threats of the leftovers of the DOJ, and just go after these pedophiles. That's just really what you need to do, and all the other corruption. All right? Okay, out for here for now.